I want you to imagine that it is Friday afternoon in your classroom. You just got the last student on the bus. They all got on the right bus. Everyone's been picked up. And you're going back into your classroom, and it is almost time to go home. That you might have a lot of feelings about that. You might be like, hallelujah, the end of the week, we have made it. And that is likely what many of us feel. Even if you love teaching, you're probably excited when it's Friday afternoon. You've worked hard all week. You're ready for a break. Sometimes, though, we're also filled with a little bit of, or a lot of stress or pressure or dread, because for many of us, we go in the classroom, we come back from putting all the kids on the bus or whatever we were doing to wrap up the day, and we want to go home, but then we realize, well, I'm not ready for next week. Maybe we didn't get enough prep time that week. We know that we need more prep time. Many of us aren't getting enough of it. Maybe something else came up, or it's field trip season, or there's just things happening, and now we're not ready for the next week. For the first, I want to say 5 or more years that I was teaching, it took me a long time to figure out what we're going to talk about today. For the first several years that I was teaching, I was like a weekend warrior and an evening person. I would be at school late almost every day. And this was back when I didn't have a child at home and things like that. So it was a little bit of a different situation, but I would be at school late. I would be there every weekend. And it was almost like my little badge of honor in a way. Like I let it define me sometimes, like, oh, I'm going to be there because I wanted to make sure everything was always ready. Well, it wasn't really doing anyone a service when I was just worn out or tired, right? But I didn't quite know how else to do it. I was trying to use my prep time, but I still felt like I needed more to do to be this like perfect teacher or to have things done. Over time, though, I realized that is just, there's always more to do in teaching. And the sooner we can accept that as a fact that doesn't have to be good or bad, it just is, when we can say it's never done and we don't have to let that stress us out, that is the first step toward some freedom here with stress. Teaching is never done. It's part of the beauty of it and the stress of it. The beauty is, hey, we always have new challenges to keep us on our toes, right? We know it's kind of like job security. There's always something to do in teaching. That's the plus side. The downside is it's really hard if you're a person who wants to kind of wrap up the day with a bow and be like, I have clocked out and I'm done. Really hard to do that in teaching, especially in early childhood, where it just kind of melts into our overall life, right? And probably other grades too, but this is an early childhood podcast. So it's hard to do that. So number one, we have to accept that it's truly never done. But now how can we get some of this time back for ourselves? If you're, like we just pictured on Friday afternoon, you're in your classroom, you really want to go home, but you're not ready for next week. And you're kind of in this dilemma, like, okay, I guess I better stay and get ready for next week. Or maybe I'll just come back tomorrow because I'm so tired. I'll just come back tomorrow on my Saturday, right? And for many of us, maybe that's not an option. Now you might have children or family or other plans, rightly so, because it's the weekend. And it's really hard to separate that personal life and that work life. So today on our quick tip here, I want to talk about the concept of ready for Monday. So when we are in the classroom on Friday afternoon and we want to go home, I don't want you to think about next week as a whole. I want you to think about Monday, just Monday. That can be hard at first when we're used to prepping out everything, right? We want to be ready for next week. So we think we need 17 new centers, the bulletin board freshened out, everybody's stuff cleaned out. We don't. I want you just to be ready for Monday. So for the first thing you could do is grab a timer, set a timer for like 3 to 5 minutes, not very long. If you're like me, I actually work faster on a timer and I get more done. I could get like a year's worth of things done if I'm on the clock, if I'm like being timed. It's like a personal challenge or something. Set your timer for like 5 minutes and do a quick tidy of your area, of your teacher things. For me, that would be the circle time area because I end up setting things down there. We've got read alouds piled up and pointers and markers and it just gets a little messy. 5 minutes, declutter your area or the classroom, whatever you want, a quick 5-minute decluttering. Then I want you to just say it to yourself over and over. Put it on a sticky note if you need to, on your lesson plan book, ready for Monday. What do you need to make Monday a success? Make sure their name tags on their check-in for lunch are ready. Make sure your circle time area is ready. Do you need anything in the pocket chart? Are your centers ready? You don't need all new centers just because it's Monday. If you are rotating centers. And if you haven't taken the play course with us, by the way, you're going to want to check the show notes, because free-flowing centers are going to change your entire life when it comes to lesson planning. You're going to save so much time when you ditch those rotations. But this podcast episode is not for that, but do check the show notes. But a tip here, if you are rotating centers and things like that, don't make Monday the day. And you don't need to do them all at once. But number one is, don't have it be the first day of the week when you're already stressed and trying to get things ready, because then Friday, you're more stressed out. So if you're still doing that, pick a different day. That way, you know, for Monday, I already have the centers out that we're using because I just did them on Wednesday or whatever day that you were using, right? So I already have them ready. What other small group lessons do you need? What do you need for Monday? That's it. I don't want you to think about Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. Okay? Then on Monday, then hopefully you're having planning time on Monday morning or afternoon or specialist time. I know you might not, right? We all have very different schedules, but your goal then is to look at the rest of the week at that time. So our goal here is to, on Friday afternoons, feel like we can go home and spend Saturday and Sunday entirely at home, whether it's on our own, and by at home, I also mean like out and about doing other things for ourselves, whether it's with our family, our friends, ourselves, you name it, away from school, okay? Because as much as we might like to, I know I felt this way for a long time. It was part of my identity to be the teacher always at school. And if you want to be there, that's fine. You can be there and still and do what you want to do. However, just know that leaving on time on Friday, it doesn't make you less of a teacher. There's no prize for having your car be in the parking lot first or last. There's no prize for that. And when we are tired and worn out, it's reflected in how we are showing up for ourselves and our students. So leaving on time, especially on Friday, even if you just say only on Fridays will I leave on time, if that's your first step, okay? Leaving on time, having that time for ourselves can really recharge us and make us show up even stronger for our students and make us enjoy our job more. So I want you to jot down, ready for Monday, okay? Now make sure you check the show notes here. We're gonna link you out so you can learn more about free-flowing centers and things to help you stay organized and help you feel more ready for Monday so that you can go home and relax each and every week, because it's very well deserved. Thank you for being here, and I will see you soon in the next episode. Happy teaching.